A few months ago, my mom showed me a video by a neurologist named Arif Khan, and it was about journaling. And that video got me back into journaling. It's obviously been a part of my personal development for a while. I don't know that you really can be on a personal development path truly without doing some level of documented introspection. But I had taken a long break from it. And this video got me back into it with one single key point that he makes: that journaling is equally self-reflection as it is self-construction. When you are journaling, you are not just putting down your thoughts as they are. In the process of doing that, you are making connections live while you are writing. And you are figuring out new possibilities that may already exist or may have the possibility to exist. It is an excellent way to fully realize potential. To just sit down and write longhand. Even if that's not even your aim when you go into it, you can go into it totally just with the aim of, I'm just going to write down how angry I am, for instance. And then in the midst of writing down all this anger, suddenly a thought of rationality pops in that says, okay, well, maybe this thing is something that I don't have to feel as angry about. Or maybe I'm really hard on myself in this way and I'm really angry about it. But maybe there's a little bit more nuance to the story that makes me not so hard on myself. And before you know it, the general tone and vibe of what you're writing just kind of eases up. It is very, very rare that I go into even just a 10-minute journaling session, which is what I try to do at least every day, if not more. It's very rare that I go through that process and I come out of it not feeling better. I certainly never feel any worse. At the very least, even if the raw emotions aren't any better, there's a bit of validation to the fact that I've just put it into words. It's not something that's just stuck inside of me anymore. It feels like that energy has had at least some room to move, even if it's just onto a page in the form of ink. Yeah, and I mean, of course, you can look up all kinds of sort of cognitive behavioral therapy or just personal development kind of journal entries. That's great. It hardly matters exactly what the prompt is that you're following, though. You're going to achieve some sort of benefit from journaling, even if it's just the raw, plain stating of facts of what your whole world is. I talked a few weeks ago about skier Eileen Gu and how I was jealous listening to her level of introspection, but also inspired by it, of course. But yeah, one thing she said is I just think that it's so cool that through self-reflection, I am able to change how I think and thus change who I am. Now, the maybe a little bit mouthy spiritual guru inside of me does want to interrupt that and say, well, technically speaking, no matter how thoughts are behaving, your true self remains the same regardless of how you're thinking. But your true self wants the best for even this small self. Obviously, it wants the best for it. And even if you are, again, by the most spiritual-headed doctrine that you can find, just some witness to all of this, I would much rather witness positive thought processes. Let's try that again. Positive thought processes going on. I would much rather see a really developed version of Joe out in this world. And more than anything, I'd like to see some version of Joe that has a strong level of peace with himself. And I feel like I'm most of the time at that place. Always have better that I can go. But I come to a lot more peace with myself through the process of honoring myself in the form of journaling.